Like to welcome everybody out to week 12 of Money Matrix Business Hacking. What continues to drive your success? I had an experience just last night that made me think of what is the number one thing I could share with you guys on our final mastermind call together that would really set you off on the right direction, leading you moving forward. So here is a story or a quote I want to share with you. I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper or your heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you downward to failure. I am completely at your command. Half the things that you do, you might just as well turn them over to me, and I will be able to do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of all great people, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, though I work with all the precision of a machine plus the intelligence of a human being. You may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? I am habit. When you think about what drives your behavior, for those of you who've coached one-on-one with me, we talk about the emotional fingerprint. And at the core of that really are your habits. And how are your habits formed and what causes your habits? And does habit lead to success? A good friend of mine and the woman who cuts my hair almost every single month owns a Great Clips. In fact, she owns 3 of them. Her name is Julianne, and I was talking to her just last night as I was getting my hair cut. Came to find out that she owns 3 Great Clips in our small town, but another investment firm came to her with 10 Great Clips and said, why don't we merge together? After looking at the numbers, she found out that 3 of her Great Clips almost outproduced the 10 of theirs. Basically, there's a $50,000 shyness of that. Then another group of investors came along who had 20 Great Clips. Her 3 Great Clips are just $100,000 less than his 20 combined. And she continues to win awards after awards. I mean, this woman has won more awards in Great Clips than anyone else. Most Great Clips are conglomerate franchises. There's only like 3 or 4 Great Clips owners who actually work in it. Like, she works there every single day. And why did she not show up at corporate to win her award? She was so busy working. Her success is that she trains her people how to cut their hair. When I used to go a couple years ago when I moved here, it was a 50-50 shot. Like, literally half the time my haircut was horrible, the other half worked out beautiful. But what she did is she taught her people the routine of being habitually successful. Now she's so successful that she won an award last quarter for the highest growth of any Great Clips nationwide. And this is my small town out in the middle of nowhere, and she's leading the charge. And how does she do it? She does it by teaching the people who work there the habits of success. And she does it all as a single mom. This is a woman who literally is just crushing it. Great Clips came to her and said, you know what, we want to give you 20 stores. We want to make you pay for them. I'll give you 20 stores in Michigan if you will go manage them and run them. And she wouldn't do it because she wanted to stay here. All this happened because of her habits of being successful. One of the absolute most profound books on this topic is The Power of Habit by Charles DeHugue. If you do not own this book, please do yourself a favor and buy this book this Christmas season. Read it, master it, memorize it. I want to share it with you today because of the impact it's had on my life, but also moving forward. We're going into the top of the year. People are going to be starting new habits, or they're going to try to start new goals, which will lead to successful habits. There's a 3-step process for forming habits. First, there is the cue. This is the trigger that tells your brain to go into an automatic mode and which habits to use. Then there's the routine, which can be physical, mental, or emotional. Finally, there's the reward, which helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is worthy of remembering in the future. So remember this 3-step process and write it down if you need to. I'm going to leave the slide up for a second. Write down cue, routine, reward. Cue, routine, reward. An MIT professor, Anne, did a study where they trained rats to go through a certain maze to get a reward. Then they deprogrammed them by moving the reward and then placing it somewhere else. Then one day they placed the reward in the old location and the previous habit emerged. She said, the problem is that your brain can't tell the difference between a bad and good habit. And so if you have a bad one, it's always lurking there, waiting for the right cues and rewards. So think about that. This was like groundbreaking to me when I discovered this. Your brain does not know whether a habit is a good habit or a bad habit. It just forms habits as shortcuts. That's all a habit is a shortcut. If you had to relearn everything, imagine like you went on a vacation and all of a sudden your brain instantly was white, free and clear. When you came home, you wouldn't know how to drive. Your brain creates habits, shortcuts, so that you can always get exacting results. How many times have you driven home from the mall or the grocery store and you get in your driveway and you think, how did I get here? Like, was I even paying attention? Your mind and your body has these habits. It knows where to turn to get to your house. It knows where the stop signs are, the red lights. It has seen them thousands of times. So for your brain to process information quickly, it forms these little rivers or caverns, if you will, that are habits. Now here was the breakthrough. Those habits are always there. You do not get rid of habits. Remember that. You do not get rid of habits. What you do is you change the rewards. You change how they come into your life. Researchers at the University of North Texas discovered families who started eating out would usually increase their fast food intake due to the habit loop, cue, routine, reward. National restaurant chains are designed to look exactly the same, from McDonald's Golden Arches to Disneyland's Mickey Mouse ears. Employees are trained to say the same things at each location. The French fries are created so they begin to disintegrate the moment they touch your tongue, giving you a hit of a salt, making you crave a drink. This reinforces the habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. However, habits are very fragile. If a local restaurant closes, according to the North Texas study, the family will not seek out a new restaurant. They will actually revert back to a previous habit of cooking at home. So you have these habits and they store up in your mind and in your body and in your cellular makeup. And when you go from one habit, let's say you live in Charlotte and you move from Charlotte to, let's say, Chicago. All those habits you had in Charlotte are no longer there because now you live in a new city. You've got to create new habits, new restaurants, new places to get your cup of coffee, new places to grocery shop. But if you were to go back to Charlotte, instantly all those old habits would come right back to you. Think about the cue, routine, reward. What happens when you or a company changes the reward? In 2005, Starbucks changed their red holiday cups. This was a seasonal reward that people looked forward to every season. So as a refresher, here's what the cups used to look like if you're watching this online. You had 2009 and you had all like Christmas, snowflakes, snowmen, things that represented the holiday season. And then 2015, they thought, you know what, let's just go with a red cup. And this is what happened. People retaliated. People started drawing out their own things. So if you're just listening to this and you're driving the car and you can't see this, there's one cup of Batman. He says, you know who doesn't get to celebrate Christmas? My parents. God is dead. Another one, Merry Krampus. You got, if you remember seeing those drawings of Calvin urinating on like the Ford or Chevy logos you see on the back of pickup trucks, and someone drew one of Starbucks urinating on Christmas. It got so bad that even talk show hosts were talking about this problem with the red cup. So when they changed the reward, people retaliated. So in 2016, what did they do? They came out with the most festive holiday cups you can imagine. And what they did is they replaced the reward. So you have this cue, routine, and reward. People wanted festive holiday cups. I can guarantee you, as long as the current CEO exists and as long as they remember this, they will never go back to a solid cup at the holiday season. They will always stick with this incredible, Christmas collection because that's what people wanted. Now let's be honest. It's just the same cup with a printing on it. It's the same red they've always used. They just have a different logo on it. But the reward for people at Christmas time when they go to Starbucks, the cue is the snow is out, it's cold, I'm going to Starbucks, that's my routine. My reward is now it's the holiday season, I want my Christmas cup. Well, they changed that reward and people just went ballistic. Why do you brush your teeth, do you think? It's all because of one man, Claude Hopkins. He was the marketer behind Quaker Oats, Palmolive, Goodyear Tires, and Schlitz Beer, and countless others. In fact, he wrote a book called Scientific Marketing. I highly recommend it. If you Google it, you can actually get a free copy of it. He wrote, I think, in 1932 or 1923, and it's now public domain. So I was Googling it yesterday, read it last night. This guy is fantastic. All the marketing message that you think are normal today, he is the one who made them popular today. I mean, he proved them back in the 1920s and 1930s. So Scientific Marketing, definitely read that. It's a great read. It's super short, like 54 pages. But a friend of his came to him with an idea of Pepsodent. Now, he was into, cereals and beauty products, and back in, the early 1900s, believe it or not, people did not brush their teeth. In fact, only 7% of the people before World War I actually had toothpaste in their medicine cabinet. So he had to find a trigger, something that would convince people to want to brush their teeth. And he read countless boring dentist books and hygiene books, and he found this technical term, which basically was the fuzz of that film on your teeth. So what he decided to do was he had to create a craving. And that's how a new habit loop is created, is you got to create a craving. So the ad would read, just run your tongue across your teeth. You'll feel a film. That's what makes your teeth look off color and invites decay. Note note how many pretty teeth are seen everywhere. Millions are using a new method of teeth cleaning. Why would any woman have dingy teeth? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm dyslexic today. Let me start this over. The ad read, just run your tongue across your teeth. You'll feel a film. That's what makes your teeth look off color and invites decay. So that was one ad right there. And so people could instantly rub their teeth. If they're reading this or watching it, they could rub their tongue across their teeth. And back then, people weren't brushing their teeth. So instantly, they could feel that film. Do you know that that film is also removed if you eat an apple? But toothpaste removes it quick and easy. Now, all toothpaste does, but he made it sound like Pepsodent was the only toothpaste that could do it. Another ad said, note how many pretty teeth are seen everywhere. Millions are using a new method of teeth cleansing. Why would any woman have dingy film on her teeth? Pepsodent removes the film. In 3 years, the product went international. Before Pepsodent appeared, only 7% of Americans had a tube of toothpaste in their medicine chests. A decade after Hopkins' campaign, it was at 65%. You brush your teeth because of this marketer created a new craving, and then your parents' start brushing their teeth, then your parents, and now you do, and now you teach your children to brush their teeth. So here's the secret. First, you have to find a simple and obvious clue. Rub your tongue over your teeth. Second, clearly define the reward. Pepsodent removes the film on your teeth. So let's look at how you could use this for real estate marketing. Now, I'm just going to come up with one off the top of my head. You're going to have to create your own. But what if you're going to say something to the effect that, look at your bank account. Do you have enough? Real estate investing helps you increase your bank account. Now, something simple like that, like what's that pain point in someone's life? That's the first cue. Are you overweight? Is it hard for you to get off the floor? Is it challenging to walk up and down stairs? And then you go to the reward. Use this product or use this exercise or work out with this physical trainer and you will have that reward. So you have to figure out the cue and then you got to put in the reward that people want, and that will help create the craving. So when you show people before and after pictures, I think one of the best things with weight loss products and the reason why they sell billions of dollars a year is the before and after pictures. So you could literally do an infomercial and just show before and after pictures and people will buy that product because there's the cue and the reward. Oh, hey, I'm fat. I look just like this person. Oh, but look, they lost weight. Now I want to look at the new version of that person. That is the easiest way. So if you're selling real estate investment, show the before and after. Here's the car I used to drive. Here's the car I drive now. Or here are the vacations I used to take, and it's like a tent in a Walmart parking lot. Here are the vacations I take now, and it's in Punta Cana and Hard Rock Cafe and different places we've all gone together. what are images that you could put up there? Here is the house I used to live in. Here it is now remodeled and done. I did that through what I learned with my real estate investment coaching or courses. Febreze is a fantastic product. I love it. If you have teenage children, you will highly recommend it to other people who have teenage children. It desensitizes smell. It does not cover it up. It actually chemically desensitizes it. It is so powerful that NASA uses it to sterilize and clean the space shuttle. So it has a very fascinating story that I read about last night. In fact, we're making a Money Matrix video on it right now. They spent years researching and searching why Febreze was not selling. Febreze was so effective at neutralizing smell, they thought for sure that the cue would be, your house smells but doesn't have to. One original ad was about a dog. Sophie will always smell like Sophie, but with Febreze, now your furniture doesn't have to. So they put this out in stores across the country, spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the marketing, the advertising, product placement, product manufacturing. Then they went back to check their sales after the first quarter, and nothing happened. It was all sitting on the shelves. So they hired scientists from MIT, from Carnegie Mellon. They hired all these scientists and psychologists and researchers to figure out why the product wasn't selling. It was one of the greatest products ever invented, but could not sell. They went and they interviewed a woman who had 9 cats. They walked in and one of the scientists actually gagged. It was so powerful. And asked the woman, do you use Febreze? No, every once in a while when the smell gets really bad. And they asked her, do you smell the smell right now? She goes, no, I don't smell anything. What they realize is that people get very accustomed to their own smells. So think about if you've ever had a friend who had a dog and you walk into their house like, oh my gosh, the smell is so strong, but they think nothing of it. You physically get desensitized to the smells in your home. So the ad bombed. They could not figure out why. Then they sent film crews to just film people cleaning. And after reviewing slide after slide, frame after frame, they noticed that certain people began to smile when it was done. And then they would just shoot Febreze to make that clean smell. So they realized no longer was the ad routine and reward that, hey, your house smells and we'll make this better. Oh, you're cleaning your house? Why don't you top it off with Febreze? So one of the original slogans were, get bad smells out of fabrics. They changed that to cleans life's smells. So just that simple twist sold it. So if you can create a craving, you can create a new habit for people. So what was that worth? Over $1 billion a year in annual sales. $1 billion product in one product. Do you understand how huge that is? They were going to lose everything. But they kept researching and researching until they figured out the cue, the routine, and the reward. The routine was people just sprayed it just to refresh their room after they cleaned it, not to get the smells out. So you have to look at what cravings are you currently having in your own life? What cravings are you creating? And how do you change habits? The golden rule of habit change. You use the same cue, provide the same reward, change the routine. So if you remember the biography I've told you about with Bill Wilson, he was the founder of AA. His cue was when he got lonely, that triggered him to want to drink. So he would go to a bar and drink, and the reward was he would get obliterated and didn't have to worry about being lonely. So the cue is the same. When you want to drink, you go to the bar as the routine, you have to change the routine. So what he did is he got with Dr. Bob Smith, and they started to talk to each other. Every time he got lonely and wanted to drink, he'd call Bob Smith and vice versa. The reason why AA has been so prominent and so profound in changing addiction behavior is the cues are the same and the reward are the same. He didn't want to be lonely. So after he had a phone call with Bob Smith, he was no longer lonely. The craving subsided. So now with AA, there's always a sponsor. And that sponsor has to be someone who's overcome the addiction of alcoholism. You can't go there and be a psychologist and say, hey, I want to sign up to be a sponsor. Nope. You have to have been an alcoholic and overcome it. So now look at your life and your business. You have certain cues that are emotional. Let's say you get depressed when you look at your bank account, or you get rejected from a couple phone calls. You're sitting down to make 100 phone calls, and you get into 10 or 15 phone calls, and all of a sudden you get rejected. What's your routine? You probably go to Facebook, you probably go to YouTube, watch some videos, maybe read the news, and that reward is not to have to make the phone calls. Once again, your mind does not know good habits from bad habits. It just knows they are habits, those shortcuts. So text me if you will. We're going to the mastermind, 951-973-3408. What are your cues that slow you down in business? So those cues are those triggers. What is it? Is it rejection? Is it your bank account? You know I'm not going to share your name, so be honest. Just text me, 951-973-3408. I want to see, once again, if there's a pattern here. Is there a certain reason why we aren't making the phone calls? Is there a certain reason why we're not going to the meetings? What is that cue that triggers you negatively? What's that cue? And let's see if we together can come up with maybe a new routine, create a new craving, and the reward will still be the same. So go ahead and text me. I'll read these off. These are fantastic. This is why I love doing it this way, to see what patterns evolve. Almost every single one of you have said rejection, lack of a positive response, lack of success, when I get behind on my bills, team members whine and complain, when I have an argument with a loved one, people making excuses. Usually it's this negative trigger, this, oh, I don't want this to happen. Then what's the routine? What do you usually do? So go ahead and text me back again. What do you usually do when that happens? Yeah, yep, you guys are doing the same thing. Not hitting my goals, rejection of new ideas, stress of bank account, people making excuses. Okay, so when that happens, that's your trigger. Let's look at your routine. What do you do? Freeze, try to avoid it, cry, and I do it anyways. Changing gears, give up, watch TV, divert attention. And what is that? Oh, good, some more coming. Do something that makes me feel happy. Go down the rabbit hole. I hate making calls. Start going to Facebook. I don't make the call. Okay, so what is that reward? So the cue is the rejection, or a form of rejection. The routine is a distraction. So you leave what you're doing. You get distracted in Facebook and social media and TV. What's the reward? Why do you do that? Once again, our mind doesn't know if it's a good or bad habit, but there's a reason you're doing it. So what's the reward? You don't have to make their calls. You don't feel rejected. Go ahead and text me. What is your reward? Why do you do it? It stops the pain. Yep. Don't have to face it. Don't have to deal with reality. It changes an immediate attitude. Emotional. I look for things to distract me. The reward is the support. Don't have to feel like I suck. These are all things that we do consistently and constantly. This is why I love human behavior so much, because it is so tied to business. Let me be honest. I've said it 1,000 times. Making money is easy. It is 2 + 2 always equals 4. It's one of the only scientific things that is guaranteed, where you create enough value for somebody, they will spend money with you. If I sell you my house for $100, you will spend $100 to buy my home. If I sold to you for $100,000, you would do it in a millisecond. Even if you didn't have that 100 grand, you would borrow it, buy it, steal it, whatever, to come up with it, because the home is worth 7 to 8 times that 100 grand. So once again, what really holds us back? What holds us back is our emotions, our mindset, our habits, our routines. That's the only thing that holds us back. So if we can hack our life, if we can really look at this emotional thing that holds us back and change it, then success is inevitable. We can become anything and do anything we want if we just hack our own mind, our own mindset, our hobbies, our habits, our attitude, then success is guaranteed. So the reason why I wanted to end on this call with habits is I want you guys to spend some time the next 30 days really focusing on habits. Why are they created? Buy this book, read this book. It's a great audiobook. Some of the stories are groundbreaking, amazing. But I want to give you some habit hacks, if you will. When you're going into the new year, do not set goals, set commitments. So if you coach with me one-on-one, this is standards versus expectations. So goals have timelines, commitments have results. More people have given up in the name of goals than have ever achieved anything in the name of goals. Think about how many people have set goals that have failed versus how many people have set goals and achieved them. The percentages, I guarantee you, staggeringly different. So eliminate goals and go to commitments. I don't have a goal not to cheat on my wife. I have a commitment to not cheat on my wife. There's no time to it. It's a commitment. When it comes to my business, I don't have a goal with a time limit, like I want to make X amount by December 31st. No, I have a commitment to keep going no matter what. Then when December 31st comes, whether or not the amount of money I want in my bank account is there or not, doesn't matter. I'm still committed to making it work. I'm still moving forward. Another habit hack that I think is absolutely profound, and this is actually in the book, this one changed the way, it actually changed my productivity immensely. So remember, you have the cue, routine, and reward. If you want to start a new habit, make it easier to achieve by placing the cue in close proximity. So if you want to go out and exercise, put your tennis shoes at the end of your bed. If you're going to go swimming, get your own pool bag. Buy some, they have waterproof iPods to listen to music when you're in the pool. Do things that make it super easy. So in my office, to my right is my library. I can grab all of my books with putting my right arm out and touching the wall like I am doing right now. I have two separate couches in my office. I have a kind of a larger office. And in each couch is, they're matching couches. They're exactly the same. They're like theater couches with drink holders. Inside of each couch, even though they're literally a foot away, each couch has a highlighter, a pen, so that if I'm reading a book, I don't have to get up, go to my office desk, grab a highlighter and a pen to make notes. Spend an extra 99 cents and put a highlighter in each couch. If you want to learn to read more or be more passionate about books, put a book next to your nightstand so that when you go to bed, you're like, oh, instead of looking online, I'm going to read this book. They prove that if you want to lose weight, take all of your treats and put them on the top shelf. You know, they used to say, well, don't buy the treats. Well, back to the cue and routine and reward. You're at the store, you see the shiny box of cookies, you buy them anyways. Well, just take them and put them on the top shelf. They found that people lost weight because when they open the shelf, if all the healthy food was on eye level, that's what they'd choose first because that's the cue, routine, and reward. But if you have that binge craving late at night, well, now you got to get a step stool. Now it's a little bit harder. So once again, the habits are fragile when there's other habits available as well. Look at your life and your business. If you don't like to make calls, what kind of reward can you put? So I like to block time, compartmentalize time, where if I want to do, or if I have to do something I don't want to do, I do it in blitz moments. So 30-minute blitzes with a 15-minute reward. So if I have to make a bunch of business phone calls I don't want to make, I do it for 30 minutes. I turn off my laptop. I turn off everything so there's no distraction. If your routine is to go watch TV, then make phone calls in your car where your TV is not near you. So look at your life and hack your life, hack your routines. Pay super close attention to your triggers. What are your cues? What is happening? What makes you think a certain way, act a certain way? And then change it. Remodel your home. And I'm not talking about going out and spending a lot of money. Just change the decorations. Move your couches around. That will change it. The title of the book again is The Power of Habit by Charles DeHugg. The Power of Habit by Charles DeHugg. D-U-H-I-G-G. Phenomenal, phenomenal book. I want to say thank you guys for this incredible mastermind. You guys have been amazing as always. I love and appreciate you. I'm going to end the mastermind now, but what I've decided to do today to do something different is I'm going to open up the next 15 minutes to just Q&A. So if you want to be done with the mastermind, you can end your call right now, hang up, no problem. But I'm going to do a Q&A. You guys text me. I'll give you 15 minutes. Ask me any question. It can be about today or it can be about anything in your personal life, your relationship, and business. So that's the end of our mastermind. I'm going to leave it up to you. You've got my cell number, 951-973-3408. Go ahead and text me in. I'll still keep the recording going for the next 15 minutes, so if those who are listening to this later, then they'll be able to listen to it as well. Looking for a hack for time blocking. Great idea. So a hack for time blocking works like this. Itemize what you want to get done. So if I compartmentalize things. So if I want to write a book, I'll say, okay, this date, this time, I'm going to write a book. So I'll put it into my calendar. If you have an enormous long to-do list, only look at the 5 things, and I call this the flu test. If I had the flu today and I was throwing up and I had diarrhea, what are the 1, 2, or 3, maybe 5 things I would have to get done today no matter what? The flu test quickly tells you what's a priority and what's not. There are countless things you need to do that you don't have to do. You look back to a year ago, all those quote-unquote things you had to do, very few of them you actually had to do. So when I'm looking for a time block, something to hack is what is of most important, and then I tie a dollar amount to it. If I were to do this, how much money would it generate? And if the answer is none, then I just do it after 5 p.m., after my work hours. If it's, doing a haircut or picking something up, I always do that after hours. So I compartmentalize my day from 8 to 5 are my business hours. Now, sure, I do some coaching on the weekends. I speak in the evenings sometimes. But for the majority is 8 to 5. Then from 5 until 8 is my family time. And then 8 until midnight is my secondary work time. So if I need to get caught up, if I need to write a book, get something done, like I worked, believe it or not, even though this mastermind was only 30 minutes long, I spent 5 hours creating this, working on this, studying books, putting it together for you guys. So it may only take us 30 minutes to go through. It's kind of like watching a movie. It's 2 hours long, but it took them 2 years to build. So a lot of my time, 8 until midnight, is getting prepared for something new. Great question. Let me look at some other ones. Can you learn to love sales even if you hate it? Absolutely. Let me pull something up on my screen real quick. If you can see this on the screen, it's called the law of exchange. If you're just listening to this at home, basically imagine drawing a circle with spokes off, like spokes on a wheel. Center circle with lines, almost like a mind map that we talked about a couple weeks ago. If in the center you were to write the word sales, on the left-hand side would be all the things you hate about sales. The right-hand side would be all the benefits to sales. So the left-hand side, that could be rejection, that could be fear, that could be too much time. The right-hand side is the benefits. So this is the pros and cons list. If I do sales, I make money. If I make money, I can take a trip. If I make money, I can buy a home. If I make money, I can pay my bills. If I make money, I can build up my revenue and create investment properties. The very bottom of the page, it says law of exchange. You will only exchange what you value least for something you value more. So think about Renatus. People are investing $20,000 for the Extreme Plus combo. They are only willing to invest that money at the moment the law of exchange takes place. When all of a sudden, in their mind, they have created a new craving, or what I call a reassociation, where all of a sudden they realize this $20,000 in my bank account or this $20,000 on my credit limit is no longer as valuable to me as this education and the potential of learning how to invest and make more money. The second that happens, the law of exchange takes place, and it's true in every area of your life. Think about Christmas time or Black Friday or Cyber Monday. People will wait in lines for hours. This blows my mind. Get up at 4 in the morning, go to Walmart, wait in line to save $200 on a TV. The reason why is they make probably $15 an hour. So their time is not worth, the way the law of exchange works is they think, okay, if I get up 3 hours early and wait in line, that's going to cost me basically $45 of time. But I'm going to save $200, so it's more valuable. Someone who makes $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour, I'm never getting up at 4 in the morning to go buy something. I don't care. Unless it's a Ferrari that's only 50 grand, not 250 grand. Now that's worth my time. So you look at your life in the law of exchange, everything from buying a pair of tennis shoes to buying your house is the law of exchange. You're willing to exchange what you have for something of greater value. So the way you create a different change in your association to sales is you got to put a bigger carrot out there, a bigger reward, something that's super, super enjoyable for you to do, and you'll do it without even thinking about it. You'd love to do it. That also is how you change the cue, routine, and reward. Great questions. Let me look at some other ones here. How do we project more value via phone calls with prospects? Phenomenal question. It comes down to you've got to ask better questions. Value is created by this whole law of exchange, but you can't create the law of exchange. Excuse me, one second. You cannot create a law of exchange unless you know what they value. So let's say I was calling you, I'm going to do a prospecting call. I was simply asking you, what are you most passionate about? What are you trying to achieve right now? What is your biggest pain point? What are you trying to overcome? As soon as I've gathered that information, now I can create that law of exchange. If you were to stay doing what you're doing now, would anything change? The answer is always no, because if you keep doing the same thing you're doing now, you keep getting the same result. So then I would say, if you were to learn a little bit more on how to do real estate investing by mentors and people who've made millions, if not hundreds of million dollars in real estate, and they will hold your hand and show you how to do it. If you were to make an extra $20,000, $30,000, or $40,000 on flipping one house per year, how would that affect your life? And then I would just go through question after question that they can see the exchange in their life that, man, I have got to show up for that Thursday meeting. You don't have to sell them anything over the phone. You just want them to commit to come in. So it's always law of exchange. You've got to help them understand the value and make them jump on board. Great question. A phenomenal book about that is called The One Thing. I've shared the quote many times, but in essence it says, I'm just paraphrasing here, but good questions produce good answers. Bad questions produce bad answers. Life-changing questions will change your life. So help people create questions that are life-changing, and boom, it'll happen. How do you hack the need for noise, TV, or music when you work? So I always work with music. I find no problem with that. So I have Pandora. I love Jack Johnson. So at the beginning of this call, I was trying something new to actually have it play in the background. I do not play music that I sing along to. I play music to mute out other noises. Another thing that I've bought that I highly, highly recommend are noise-canceling headphones. Now, there's different arrays of price points, but my favorite brand is Bose. So I have Bose noise-canceling headphones. I have the wireless version. I have the earbud version. And I have the wired version. I'm an addict for Bose headphones. So when my kids are home during the summer and I home office, I just put my black Bose wireless headphones on, and you turn it on, and it creates basically a white noise, and it mutes out everything. So if you don't want noise, but there is noise around you, get noise-canceling headphones. You can get them as cheap as $50 up to $300. Great question. Any other questions? I've got about 7 minutes left. I can answer anything you guys would want. Otherwise, we can end it here, but I want to give you the opportunity. Give me 1 second to read this one real quick. One more second. Okay, here's a really long one that is very important to cover. I'm going to paraphrase this one. It has to do with a person. Who is struggling with their spouse. So we know the divorce rate's at 50% nationwide. Doesn't matter what religion you are. Doesn't matter what sex, race. It doesn't matter. It's all right about 50% across the board. So how do you hack your emotions? How do you hack that person who distracts you? Now, I had clients yesterday who were in my office talking about 2008. When they check their bank account, they have all these just insanely nervous feelings that even though they're doing well, if their account dips a little bit, the 2008 emotions, that cue, routine, and reward come flooding back. So what I'm going to say is universal and applies to all things. It goes back to truth versus belief. So truth, the scripture in John 8, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. When you know truth, you are then safe. So right now, I know it snowed last night because I can look out my window and I see snow on my border, on the walkway. I see it on the golf course. I see it on the mountains that I can see from my office window. I know it snowed. The belief is whether or not I think it looks pretty. The belief is whether or not, oh, I hate snow, I hate to drive in it, or oh, I love snow, I can go sledding with my kids. Those are all beliefs. So when you want to hack your emotions, use this very simple phrase, I know. So the client I had in my office yesterday who was worried about 2008, I asked him, what do you know? What did you learn from 2008? And he said, I know that I am better with money than I was back then. I know that I will never be in the same situation again. I know that I am more relatable in my business now because I've lost my home and I've lost my car. I know. And so all you have to do is anytime you feel that cue come in, you got to change the routine. Instead of wallowing in the past, simply ask yourself, what do I know? What's the truth? I know that I was betrayed by my loved one. I know that I will find love again. I know that I'm a good human being. And you just list 10, 20, 30, 40 I knows, and all of a sudden there's the reward. You feel validated. You feel accepted. You feel internal. You feel strong. Confidence comes from knowledge. That's the only place confidence comes from. You don't have confidence in something you don't know about. You have confidence in something you know. Also, you don't have fear in what you know. Like, you're not fearful of the boogeyman because you know as an adult it doesn't exist. So when you go to the I knows, it removes fear and it builds confidence. Great question. I got maybe in time for one more question. Let me see what I have here. Do you feel that marketing is different, men versus women? I don't. Having studied human behavior for over 2 decades now, interviewing thousands of people, everybody has different associations or different triggers, if you will. And you may say, well, women tend to trigger this way and men tend to trigger that way. It's not the case. You look at Renatus, 50% are women, 50% are men. All my coaching clients, 50% have been women, 50% have been men. Marketing is marketing. Persuasion is persuasion. As you influence and help people grow, they will listen to you. That's the law of exchange. That's how it works. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate you. Oh, I had one more question here. Let me see here. Oh, 2 more questions. Let me answer these real quick. Does the Bose headphones come with a microphone headset? Yes, the both of them. So I have the wired version, and those are cheaper now because the wireless version came out. They don't have a microphone that comes down in front of your face, which is great. So you just put them on. All my coaching calls are done on Bose headphones, the noise canceling ones. Because of my ADHD and my OCD, when I hear noises in the background, it distracts me. So I put on noise canceling headphones and then do my conference calls. So the Bose ones have the black version and the gray version, wired and wireless. Great question. Another one, can we get a written copy of all the hacks? That's a great question. I would love to say yes, but I don't know on my schedule, to be honest. They are in all of the PowerPoints that I've sent to you. You have them all. You have access to them all right now. I'm not going to promise that I'll send them, but maybe if I get some free time as a Christmas bonus, I will just cut them and paste them all into one Word document and send them to you. So that may come as a surprise, but I will not commit to it. Appreciate you guys. Love you tons. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. Everything to you. And we will talk shortly, I am sure. But take care. Thank you for all that you guys have done for me. You mean the world to me. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.